And welcome guys. So in today's session we will discuss about Proc Sort. I'll not be covering the entire Proc Sort in one video. So I have divided it into 3 videos. So this is the first lecture of it. So in this video we are going to talk about what is procedure, what is its use, and then we will drill down into what is sorting and why it is required. And then we will talk about what is the basic syntax of it. We will see the basic syntax of Proc Sort, and then we'll discuss about the components of it. What are the components we have in the Proc Sort syntax? And then after we understand the syntax well, and then we will do a basic exercise, right? And at the end of the video, I will give you a few questions as an assignment for you to do. Please try those assignments. If you're not able to do it, then I will discuss those questions in the next session. So talking about procedures. So what do procedures do? Now guys, let me tell you, procedures are really very important for us in SAS, right? If you have a good grip, if you have a good understanding of Proc Sort, any procedures or all the procedures in SAS, it is really good. So procedures are basically used to perform analysis and generate reports. In short, I can say any kind of task which you want to perform on the given data set, it can be done using your procedures. Now, there are so many procedures we have in SAS. There's a list of procedures we have. Let's say, for example, you can see on the right hand side here, we have proc print, we have proc sort, contents, freak, report, transpose, tabulate. So many of them are there. The list goes on and on, right? And each of these procedures are designed to perform some specific predefined task, right? And each one of them are very unique in nature. All of them are very unique in nature, right? So in today's session, we'll restrict our discussion only to Proc Sort. So a very simple definition, which you all know, that sort is mainly used to arrange the data either in ascending order or in the descending order. So let's pull up a data set to understand. So let's say, for example, I am printing proc print data is equal to sasl.class. Let's assume we have a data set called sasl.class, which is in the sasl library. So you see that this is a data given to us. Now, Proc Sort will help us to sort the data in ascending order or in the descending order, based on what variable you want to use. That means, let's say, for example, age, you see this is not a sorted data, it's 14, 13, again it's 12, again it's 11. So we can arrange this data by sorting the data either in the ascending order of age or in the descending order of age. So ascending order means the smallest value will appear on the top and the largest value will be at the bottom, right? Similarly, if you want to sort the data based on weight, so the lightest weight will be on the top and the heaviest will appear at the bottom. That is in the ascending order. Descending order is nothing but the reverse of it, where the highest value you will see on the top and the lowest value you will see at the bottom. Now, Proc Sort is really very essential for us to know when we are into data analytics. There are lots and lots of advantage to it. For example, first of all, I will tell you that it is it really makes our data easy for visualization of statistics. Now what I'm trying to say is, let's say, for example, if this data is sorted in ascending order or in the descending order, it will be pretty easy to find us what is the lowest value and what is the highest value. That means the minimum value and the maximum value. And in statistical term, we say the maximum minus minimum is nothing but the range. So it'll help you to identify what is the range of values given to you. Let's say, for example, this is age. So we will easily be able to identify what is the smallest age given here and which is the highest age. Let's say, for example, in certain data sets, it could be a sales value. So if you sort the data set, you will be able to easily identify which is the smallest value and which is the highest sales value. So it will give you the range of sales, right? Second important aspects which you can see from sorting is you will easily be able to identify the duplicate values, or you can say the repetitive values. Some values will be repeating all the time. Let's say, for example, in this case we have age. So we have 11 years, we have 11 years, we have 12 years, 13 years, 13 years, 14, 14. So you can see these are repeating values. So once you sort the data either in ascending order or descending order, so all these repeating values will appear at the same place. So it will be easy for us to identify the repetitive values. The third advantage of sorting is that it will make grouping or categorization very easy. Now, how does it help? How is it helpful? So once you know the minimum value, the maximum value, it will be easy for you to identify. It will be easy for you to create groups. That how many groups we can create and what should be the size of the groups. So let's say, for example, if we know that okay, this is a minimum value is 11, and here the maximum value is 16, and we want to create or we want to distribute this data into 5 different groups, or we want to categorize them into 5 different groups. So it will be easy for us to create groups. What will be the size of each of the group? Next important point is it is easy to find relationship among the data points. So as you can see here, there are different values. So 14, 13, again 14 appears, again after that 12 appears, again after that 15 appears. It does not make any sense. Sense means we are not able to build a relationship from point to point, from data points. But once the data is sorted, it will be easy for us to identify the relationship for the data points. I'll repeat, it will be easy for us to identify or to find the relationship among the data points. Next important use of sorting is for graphical representation. Let us assume that you want to represent this height or you want to represent these weights over a graph. You want to plot a pie chart or a histogram or a donut chart, whatever it is, and you want to represent these values in your graphical format. Now, in order to represent the value in graphical format, you must know what is the range of values, what is the minimum value, what is the maximum value, how it can be grouped, and then only you will be able to decide what should be the labels, or what should be the points we should have in x-axis or y-axis, or what should be the group categories we should be creating when we want to plot the charts, because it will help you to understand the overall data, the range, what is the minimum value, what is the maximum value, and how the data points are actually related to each other. So these are the basic advantages of sorting, and it is really very important. I have also mentioned this advantages of organizing, or you can say advantages of sorting data set. Now let's go ahead and see the syntax of Proc Sort. Well, the syntax of Proc Sort is really very simple. It starts with the keyword proc. Now always remember, all the procedure will always start with the keyword proc itself, followed by the name of the procedure was what you want to use. Let's say for example proc, and I want to use sort, so it will be proc sort. Similarly, let's say for example I want to use print procedure, so I'll start with the keyword proc and then followed by the name of the procedure print. Similarly, let's say for example you want to use report, so we will start with the keyword proc followed by the name of the procedure report, right? So this is a common thing. All the procedures will end with run, and few procedures also end with quit. Let's say for example proc SQL. So proc SQL always ends with a quit statement, right? Now proc sort, then we have the next component or the next element of the syntax is data is equal to existing data set name. Guys, EDSN just means existing data set name. It is not a standard you can say convention. I have just used it to make the syntax sort. EDSN stands for existing data set name, right? It stands for existing data set name. So what it does, when we are saying EDSN is equal to existing data set name, we are actually giving instruction to SAS that which data we are planning to sort. We will have to instruct SAS that, hey listen SAS, I want to sort, let's say sales data, I want to sort this transaction data, or let's say I want to sort this class data. So this is kind of an input to the proc sort procedure, that this is the data I want to sort. The next element is out is equal to new data set name. So here NDSN stands for new data set name, right? New dataset name, what does it do? Out is equal to new dataset name means that once the data has been sorted, once the dataset has been sorted, where are we going to store it? So once the data is sorted, we would be interested in storing the sorted result in a new dataset, right? So that is what the use of out is equal to new dataset name is. Then we have options. So we will talk about the options later. There are few options which can be used. We will talk about it later. Then the next element of the syntax is by var list. By var list. Now var list means list of variables. Okay. Var list means list of variables. Okay. So it means list of variables. Now, see guys, when we sort the data set, let's look into this particular data set what we have. So let's say for example, we want to sort this particular data set. But we will also have to decide that the sorting has to be done based on which variable. Whether we want to sort the data set based on sex, or whether we want to sort the data set based on age, or whether we want to sort the data set based on height. So we will also have to tell SAS that the sorting has to be performed based on one of these variables. Now here I am saying one of the variables. In this video we will be restricting ourselves in sorting the data based on one variable. But it is also possible to sort the data set based on multiple variables. Well, I'll talk about sorting the data set based on multiple variables in the next video, which we will study under the topic multi-level sorting. Right? So in this video we will only talk about sorting the data based on a single variable. After that we have the run, so that is the end of it. Now we'll try to study a little more about it. So data is equal to existing data set name, which basically tells us that, hey listen, this is the data set I want to sort. Now is this an optional statement? Optional means what if is it mandatory for us to specify this? Not necessarily. You might be thinking, yeah, if I do not specify the data set name, which data will get sorted? Yes, it is not mandatory for us to specify the data set. And guys, please remember this point. It is really very important. Sometimes they also ask these questions in the interview, right? So it is not mandatory for us to specify this portion, this element of the syntax. Now, if I do not specify the data option, then what SAS is going to do? Which data set it is going to sort? In the situation when the data option is not specified, SAS will sort the most recently created data set. SAS will sort the most recently created data set. And guys, please don't be confused. Most recently created data set may not necessarily be the most recently used, right? I have also mentioned that if it is missing, then most recently created data set will be sorted, which may not necessarily be the most recently used, correct? It may not be the most recently used data set. Then the next option is out is equal to new data set. So in the syntax, the next element is out is equal to new data set. Now we know that it is used to store the result in a new data set name. Now what if I miss this, or is it also optional? Yes, of course it is also optional. Now if you miss this, what will happen? The result will be stored in the existing data set. That means your existing data set will be overwritten with a sorted data set. So you will lose the original data set. So this is also optional, which I have mentioned here. SAS will replace the original data set with the newly sorted data set. Correct. But my recommendation would be to always use the out statement. Otherwise, what will happen? Let's say, for example, if you're working in some banking project and you let's say 5 or 10 people or 5 or 10 friends of you who are working on the same project. Now imagine if each of your colleague will keep transforming the data over a period of time, you will lose the original data set. So it is recommended that you use the out statement, but it is not mandatory according to the syntax. The only mandatory component which we have in the proc sort is the by statement. is the by statement. By statement is used to define the variable or list of variables based on which we have to do the sorting. So in this situation, we will have to say by, let's say for example, if I want to sort the data set based on sex, so we will say sort the data set by is equal to sex. Age, if I want to sort the data set based on age, then it will be by age. This is a mandatory component. If you do not specify by statement, SAS will throw errors. Now this is a very simple example I have taken in order to help you understanding sorting. Let us do this example, right? Now in this example, what we are going to do is we are going to sort the data set based on age in the ascending order of age. That means smallest value on the top and lowest value at the bottom. So let's do it. So we will have proc and then sort. Then we'll specify the data option to tell SAS that which data I'm going to sort. So it is SAS_class dataset. And I would also like to specify the out option where I will tell SAS that please store the sorted data in a different dataset. So out is equal to, let's say, class_1, right? Now I'll have to give the by statement. By statement to tell that based on which variable I'm going to sort the dataset. So in this example, let's sort the dataset based on age, and then finally the run statement. Now if I execute this, SAS will sort the dataset, but you will not be able to see any result. The reason is you have only, by executing these 3 lines, you have only given instruction to SAS that please sort the dataset, but you have not given an instruction to print the dataset. So what I will do, I will try to print data. Now which data I want to print? I want to print my class 1 because my sorted result is stored in the class 1 dataset. So class_1 and run. So now if I execute this dataset, you will see that my data is sorted in the ascending order of age. So see 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 14, 15 and the highest value is at the end, which is 16. Correct? Now this is a default option. Default option, what I'm trying to say is sorting the data in the ascending order is the default option of proc sort. What if I want to sort the data in the descending order of the age value? That means highest value on the top and the lowest value in the at the end. That is pretty easy. All you have to do is proc sort data. So again, I will specify the data set name. Let's say SAS_class. This time I will store the result in a new data set called as class_2. Now by age. Now if I specify by age, then we know that SAS will sort the data set in the ascending order. We have to sort the data set in the descending order. So we will add the keyword descending. Now make sure that the keyword descending appears before the variable. It should not be after the variable. It must be before the variable. Then I will run and then I will print the data set. Proc print data is equal to class_2 and run. Now if I execute this, my data set would be sorted in the descending order of age. So you can see 16 has appeared on the top and 11, which is the smallest value, has appeared in the appeared at the end. So this is so simple to understand proc sort. Now in this video I am going to share few more questions. We will solve few more questions for clarity. So let's say sort the sasl.shoes dataset in the ascending order of their sales. So let us try to solve this question. So this is a question we have. So let me add a comment to it and then proc. Now first I will like to print the data set and I will show it to you how it looks like. Proc print data is equal to sasl.shoes run. Right? Now you would notice here that this data set contains so many variables such as region, product, subsidiary, stores, sales, inventory, returns. Now my question is to sort the data set in the ascending order of their sales. It means that I want the lowest sales value on the top and the highest sales value at the end of the data set. That means at the end. So what I'll do, simple proc sort Now I have to specify the data set which I want to sort. So data is equal to SAS help dot shoes, right? And then I'll also use the out statement to specify that I want to store the result in a different data set. Let's say shoes underscore 1 by sales. Run, and now I will give proc print data is equal to shoes underscore 1 run. So let's execute the code and let's see the result, whether our data set has got sorted or not. So you would notice that the data is now sorted based on the sales variable. That means the lowest value has appeared, lowest sales value has appeared on the top. And if you scroll down, you will see the value is continuously increasing, 85, 86, 89. And finally, this is the highest value, right? This is the highest value. Now, let's go to another question. Sort the data, sort sassel.shoes dataset in the descending order of their region. So we know that here we have one of the variable called as region. So we want to sort the dataset in the descending order of the region. Let's say W. Descending means alpha. So this is a character variable, so it will be sorted in the alphabetical order. Now when we are saying descending, it means W will appear or Z will appear on the top, and if there is any name starting with A, so we have like Asia and Africa, it will appear at the end. So let's do it. I will comment this question and we'll try to solve it. So proc sort data is equal to SAS help dot shoes out, where I want to store it. Let's make it shoes underscore 2, and then I will give by region. Now since I have to sort the data set in the descending order, so I'll specify the keyword descending, right? I will end it and I will try to print it. Proc print data is equal to shoes underscore 2 run. Now let's execute this code and see the result. So you see now the dataset has been sorted in the descending order of the region: Western Europe, and finally United States, South Africa, Pacific, Middle East, Canada, Asia, Africa, and so on and so forth. So this is how we can easily sort our datasets. For the practice, let's take one more dataset. So let's say we want to solve this fourth question, right? So this says that sort sassel.class dataset in the descending order of the sex. So when we are trying to sort the dataset in the alphabetical, so sex is a character value, so it will be sorted based on the alphabetical order. So we will give proc sort data is equal to SAS help dot class, right? And I want to store the result in a new data set called as class 3. Let's say class underscore 3, right? By sex, but it is in the descending order, so I'll specify descending and run. Print data is equal to class underscore 3 run. So here when we specify descending order of sex, so we know that the sex variable has two unique values, male and female. So all the male values will appear on the top and the female value will appear at the bottom. That is our expected result. So let's go ahead and execute the code and let's see whether we have got it. Yes. See, so all the male values have appeared on the top followed by the female values. So as you can see how easy sorting is, right? Now guys, I have left question number 3 and 5, which will be assignment for you. I want you to try this, and I have also added few more questions here. Please try to solve these questions. Otherwise I will share the results of these particular questions. I will solve these questions in my next video. So that was a simple proc sort. In the next video of proc sort, we will talk about the other things like multi-level sorting, what are the options we have, and we will try to drill down and we'll try to understand those concepts. If you like my video guys, please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you so much. Have a great day.